Hey everyone, welcome to I Cook and Paint. Today I made jelly donuts because honestly, I just wanted to paint them, so I decided to make them myself, and I want to show you how I did that because they turned out really good. They do take a little bit of time, but they're worth every little bit of effort. So first you want to combine in a small saucepan some butter with some sugar and some milk and a little bit of salt, and stir this over low heat until the butter's completely melted, and then take it off the heat and let it cool. Now in a large bowl, you want to add some warm water and then sprinkle in a little active dry yeast and let this stand for about 10 minutes until it gets nice and foamy like you see here. Now whisk in 2 eggs, one at a time. So in goes one, whisk it well and then add in the other one, just like that. Make it nice and smooth. Now take your cooled butter and milk mixture and add it in. Okay, now you want to start adding in 2 cups of flour. And remember, if you have a stand-up mixer with a dough hook, it'll be a lot easier to do it in that, but I really like doing this by hand. So 2 cups of flour is going to give me a really stiff batter. Now I want to turn this into a dough. So you want to add in another 1.5 to 2 cups of flour, and do this about half a cup at a time. Keep adding it in until you get a kneadable dough. And as soon as you feel like the wooden spoon just isn't cutting it anymore, start kneading this by hand on the counter. So dump it on out and then just keep adding in more flour bit by bit. Altogether, I used an additional 1 3/4 cup of flour. So that gives you an idea of how much you'll need altogether. And just keep kneading this dough. It's going to take about 8 to 10 minutes to fully develop the gluten, but this is how it should look and feel. It should feel really smooth and be kind of stretchy when you pull on it. So right here I'm adding half a tablespoon of oil to my bowl, and I'm going to dump the dough inside and kind of toss it around, and then I'm going to flip it upside down so it's oil side up, just like this, and I'm going to cover it with plastic wrap. So now you want to let this rise for about 2 hours or until it's doubled in bulk. So when your dough looks like this, take off the plastic and now punch it out into a nice big rectangle on the counter. And it's a really good idea to smooth this out with a rolling pin because it's really important when you're making donuts that your dough is a really even thickness all the way across. So you want to roll this out to a thickness of about 1/2 inch. Now I don't have a donut cutter, but I do have a glass, and this one here is 2.5 inches in diameter, so I'm going to use this to punch out my donuts. If you don't want to make jelly donuts, you could take a shot glass right now and cut a hole out of each one of these and just get plain donuts, and plus you'd have the little holes. So I'm just going to give you a quick recap. This is how thick you want your donuts to be. Just another view so that you can see they're no thicker than about 1/2 inch. Okay, now I'm going to place these on wax paper lined cookie sheets. And now I'm going to take all my dough scraps and gather them into a ball and roll it out again to another 1/2 inch thick piece of dough and cut some more donuts out of it. So once they're all cut out, you'll want to cover them up and let them rise in a warm place for another hour or until they're almost doubled in bulk. So here's what they're going to look like. They're not quite doubled, but they've puffed up a fair bit. So after the second rising, when they look like this, they're ready to be fried. So I have here a 9.5 inch pot, and I'm going to add to that 2 cups of vegetable oil, and I'm going to turn the heat on to medium. If it's too high, your donuts are going to brown too soon and they won't cook in the middle. So the ideal temperature for frying donuts is anywhere between 360 and 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And because these donuts don't have a hole in them, we're going to have to leave them in there a little longer, so it's better to fry them at 360 degrees. That way they'll get a chance to cook in the middle. So they're not going to take very long, only about a minute to a minute and a half on each side. Make sure they do brown well so they are cooked all the way through, and then you want to drain them on paper towels. Now if you want to coat these with granulated sugar, do it now while they're still hot, because that way the sugar will stick to them really well. If you're going to use icing sugar, wait until the donuts cool first. Icing sugar is eventually going to dissolve regardless, but dusting them while they're cooled will make them last longer. If you're not going to consume these the same day, use granulated sugar. Okay, now you can fill these donuts with anything you want, and right here I have some strawberry jam that I made in the summer. But before I do that, I want to take each donut, and using a chopstick, I want to stab a hole on the side of each one and wiggle it around, just to create a little bit of a cavity inside the donut. So do that to all of them. And then you can go ahead and fill your piping bag with your jam or whatever filling you're going to use, and you just place the tip at the hole you made and then gently squeeze. So you're going to feel the filling go in, and as soon as you sense that it's at the hole, just take the tip out because you don't want to overfill these. You just want a little bit of jam inside there. So don't be afraid to let some of the jam ooze out because that's what makes jelly donuts look really good, and it also tells you what kind it is. Okay, now it's time for my favorite part. Time to dissect one of these guys to show you what it looks like inside. You see all that nice jam filling? Yummy! And that's it, guys. I really hope you try out these donuts soon and let me know how they turned out for you by leaving me a comment. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, subscribe to I Cook and Paint, and I will see you all very soon. Bye!